Hey, here we are. This is episode 28 of Laughing Vikings Live. We're back at it again. It's a Monday fun day. I'm Lars here at Laughing Vikings. On the other end of the line, you see him there virtually, BK Broiler, aka Brandon Knox, aka Fort Knox. What's up, Brandon?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Lars. It was a really good weekend. How was yours?
It was pretty good. It was a little rainy at times, but April showers bring May flowers is what I've heard.
Exactly.
According to science. So yeah. No, it was great. I should have things locked and loaded. I feel like maybe when we ask this, it's like, how was your weekend? Good. How was your weekend? Good. All right. Next. I have to have something. I have to have a better.
Well, like, I could talk about mine if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been working on some really interesting projects. I'm doing a film.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry?
Tell me a quick story.
So I'm working on a film right now, and like we just did a table read on Saturday right after the Tom Todoroff workshop.
Nice.
And so that was a good class as well. I really enjoyed that one. And then I've also been working on my dream play, to be honest. And that has been one of the most rewarding experiences.
Tell us about it. What is it?
So it's about Lou Costello from Abbott and Costello and Lucille Ball. And they sort of meet in history 2 weeks after his son has passed away. And so we're sort of exploring that story.
Are you going to dye your head red? You're playing Lucille, right?
Yes, I am. But I don't need to. Look at the red tint in my hair. Are you kidding me? Look at this.
Yes. And you've got gams for days, too. Nice. That's amazing. That's a perfect role for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been working with a voice coach as well on it. And like the voice has been very hard, but like I want to do this. I've always wanted to do Lou Costello. Abbott and Costello has been an inspiration to me since like I was 5 years old. And so like seeing that through the years, having this story idea that I didn't know what to do with it. And now I'm finally figuring that out with friends and a team. And like, that's been amazing.
Yeah. Abbott and Costello are like all-time legend, like top 5, top 10. I don't know where you'd put them, but comedy duo is probably top 3, top 5, like
at least,
and arguably number 1. And when I say that, they're right up there in that discussion. So give us a little Lou. Give us a little Lou. Let's hear it.
Hey, Abbott.
Nice. Let me hear a little. Who's on first?
That's a good one. Oh, fuck.
Got to work on that.
Who?
Yeah.
Who is on first?
Oh, the first baseman. Yes, the first baseman.
But who is on first?
The first baseman. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Anyways, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out later.
Great. That's exciting, though. That's wicked. And then, you put it out to the universe. The next thing you know, Hollywood. I don't know. Has there been a Abbott and Costello movie lately?
Nope. There has been no biopic about them. There's actually not a lot of information on either of them, to be honest.
People win Oscars for biopics, so you could do it. I think you could do it. So
hey, we'll see. We'll see, right?
We should also say hello to our listeners, to our viewers. If you're watching live right now, congratulations. You made a great life decision by joining us here. Every Monday we do it on, we're Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live, we're also on Twitch Live, and maybe you're listening on one of the plethora of podcast platforms that we're on. I believe we're on at least 11 of the major ones. So wherever you're listening to it, thank you for tuning in. And make sure to share this out. Always share it out with 3 friends. We do good stuff here. It's always high vibe chat chits with actors, artists, creators, comedians, entrepreneurs. So share it out, and you can help some friends who want to turn their own dreams into reality. And tag us as well at Laughing Vikings. And we often give you prizes. So if you want to tag a few friends, tag us, give it a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and then you'll have something free coming your way. A little prize here at Laughing Vikings, maybe an audition session, maybe an acting workshop, maybe a stand-up comedy album, maybe some stand-up tickets. You never know. Maybe we'll just send you lunch in the mail. We'll send you lunch.
That'd be great.
Of course, as you're watching, as always, feel free to type in any questions. If you've got questions for us at Laughing Vikings or for our guest, we have one of the best guests today. We are super pumped for him. We're going to give him, we're going to roll a clip to introduce you, and then I'll give him a proper introduction. Should we just do that? Should we just
Lars, let's roll the clip.
Let's roll the clip.
Have you seen my 12-inch hook?
No. You know what? I'm just gonna go to the back room and take inventory and hike my skirt up.
Harry, you're not wearing a skirt.
What are you talking about? How did I manage that? I know when Jerry's not in the mood. I mean, he needs his space. I get that.
We have a pretty clear understanding. This is the how I'm feeling today sweater. If the gate is open, that means I'm also open. But if the gate is closed, it means back up, sheep.
Hi.
Oh, hi there.
Wow, it's really nice in here.
Oh, Mayor, where's my 12-inch hook? Yeah, 12-inch cock that doesn't do anything, Jesus!
Oh, wow.
If you're looking for a loose stitch, you found what you're looking for.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jerry, I need a minute. All right, somebody yarn bombed my condo site. Ta. Tell you, it's funny? Is it funny to you?
No.
Because I'm trying to make money over here, all right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And my foreman was stuck in there for 3 hours trying to get untangled. So what you guys got to do is talk to these people.
Oh, we can't do that.
We took an oath.
An oath. You're really making me angry, the both of you.
We signed the Nitocratic oath.
What are you guys, the Nitterati? You need to set up a little meeting with these people. I need to talk to them.
That's sort of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's so nice, eh? Yeah, knitting. Yeah. I'm a rich and powerful man. I can make your dreams come true, all right? You guys like knitting? I can get you some muskox belly yarn, known by its street name, Keviot. No! I'm sorry. We'll do it.
Yes, the Nitterati. Those were beautiful sweaters.
Great
Ladies and
sweaters.
gentlemen, get ready for our guest today. He's one of the best. He is an actor. He's a comedian. He's a writer and Canadian Comedy Award-winning director. You might recognize him from Bad Blood as the captain. You might recognize him from New Eden as the American anchor. And you might recognize him as the fantabulous Alejaaaandrrrrro in Terrific Women. Make some clickety-clacking noises here. Do some things with your thumbs virtually. Give it up for Phil Luzi, everyone. Let's bring him into the studio. There he is.
Hey, guys.
Yes, and sporting a brand new luxurious man bun. Look at that.
It's a loose ponytail.
Oh, is that what it is? I see. Okay, it's a loose. I stand corrected. It's not a man bun. It's a
I want it to be long enough to make a bun, but not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
Looks good. Yeah, you look like you're fresh out of a yogi studio or something.
I couldn't help it. I'm like so excited about it.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
inner girl is dying, like seriously.
We've all been spending a lot of time today on Zoom and on virtual platforms. You just finished an audition with Brandon via Zoom. He was helping you out with a sesh.
You're there.
Yeah. Well, welcome. We want to get started here. Something that we always do with our guests is we get you to hit us with your 1-minute life story. So, Phil, we're going to have a timer on the screen. Brandon's the time master, the master of time. And I'm going to intro you right now. So get ready. Just from the heart. You can start maybe around birth or even before birth if you want. You can go up till now or even into the future a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actor, comedian, writer, director Phil Luzi's 1-minute life story. Go.
Once upon a time. I am the fourth kid of an Italian family who kept having kids until they had a boy because they needed to pass on the family name. But it didn't quite work out that way when I decided that I didn't want to get married or have kids because I'm gay. So it just threw a wrench in the situation for my family. But we got over it, became an actor, then a comedian, and then just worked my way to the middle, guys. I don't know. What's a like? Yeah, I don't know. Look at that. How many seconds did I do?
You still got 18 seconds. Pack in more life.
Well, I mean, I see you guys a lot doing self-tapes these days because I'm living alone in a house in the country and I'm doing self-tapes. That's the only time I see people, and it's you guys. So nice to be here.
Boom.
And that's it.
Phil Luzi's life story in 1 minute. Yeah. In these times, it's hard to fill a minute because we're all just kind of at home, isolated and not doing.
You're like, what's important anymore?
Mhm.
You know,
right.
What details are important at this time?
This is what's important. It's important that you're on Laughing Vikings live stream today. So, so we love talking with actors, comedians, writers, people that we work with, people that are regulars here at Laughing Vikings often, and we just want to talk about your career, how you got started, how you've turned your dreams into a living reality here, minus the fact that you're locked in a house by yourself. But yeah, so let's take it back to the beginning. Brandon, you want to kick this off here?
Yeah, Phil, what was your very first performance?
Okay, so my very first performance was a shepherd in the story of Jesus in grade 1. And I think I still have that costume somewhere because my mom made it. And I remember she put like loose tea on my face for a beard. Her neighbor Lena suggested, you know how to make a beard? With loose tea, I think, and Vaseline. Something that's... Oh, that's so fucking weird.
You didn't have the salt and pepper beard back then?
Almost. That was grade 1. This came around grade 6.
You've really grown into the role. You're perfect for one of the wise men shepherd now. Yeah,
totally.
So that was.
Do you remember any of the lines from that show?
I don't think I had any lines. Yeah,
like pantomime kind of thing.
It was. I think the teacher narrated, and everyone just moved to different positions. Like every time she finished a sentence, that. I miss stories like that, you know.
Did you have some paper mache sheep? Were you shepherding?
If I remember correctly, it was like cut out Bristol board with cotton balls.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like 2-dimensional, you know.
That's pretty decent production value for grade 1.
Yeah, yeah. And it was on the big stage in the gym, and the whole school had to come and see it. I do remember that because my sisters saw it, and they were in the same school, but in a higher grade.
And after, some big Hollywood producer was in the audience and was like, "Kid, you got the goods."
They're like, "That shepherd, that one right there.
We gotta sign him and go to Hollywood today." Nice. So you caught the bug from there.
Yeah.
So how did you transition from school stuff and theater at like drama club into going pro? What was your first paid gig?
Oh my God. My first paid acting gig, I think, was 5 Roses pasta flour commercial. And I'll never forget that day because it was my first job and I couldn't sleep all night and my alarm didn't go off. So I was late. The phone rang and my mom came to wake me up. She's like, "Someone's on the phone." I'm like, "Oh my God, I should have already been there." It was bad. And the commercial was cool. That's when, like, you know, my aunt and my grandmother's sisters would be like, because it's a pasta flour. So it would be on during like telenovelas on the Italian channel. So my grandmother would get calls like from her sisters. "I think I saw Filippo on a commercial."
That's amazing. That's instant credibility for your parents and all of your family and friends. Like an Italian guy in a pasta commercial. You made it. You could have retired. In their eyes, you could have retired right then at the top. You know.
Oh my God. I could. Yeah, I should have just stopped right there. Right.
How did you start your career as a actor, or did you start your career as a comedian?
So, like, actor. I did musical theater mostly, actually. And my first musical theater, like not pro, but kind of regional, was Grease. Nice. I played Mickey. And and then I just did like for a few years, I did like musical after musical. Like when one was finished, we'd just go into the next one until summer, blah, blah, blah. And I also did Bye Bye Birdie in Oklahoma. I miss those days.
Yeah.
And then I got a job at Second City with Tony and Tina's Wedding. And I met Sandra Battellini, who you saw in the Nitterati. And that was her idea, and we wrote it together. And she's so funny in it. And I met her when I brought my staff as a supervisor, because I was working at Casino Niagara part-time and / full-time. I worked full-time hours because I was a part-time employee at the time. But I brought my staff to see Tony and Tina's wedding for a Christmas party. And I met Sandra Battellini that night because it's an interactive show. And she was playing the mother of the bride. And then we talked, and she's like, you should, just send your stuff into the producer. And she gave me his name, and I sent it, and I got an audition call 2 weeks later. And then I got a call to understudy. And then I just kept doing that. And Sandra was doing stand-up even at that point. Like when I met her, she's amazing, has been doing it forever. And she was like, you should try it. You should try it. It took me a while, like almost 8 years until I did have the balls to try it. It's so scary. But that's how I got into stand-up comedy.
Amazing. Yeah, I was going to say in that sketch, we saw Sandra. We also saw Massimo as well. Yeah, that was great.
It's amazing. We saw, Julie Bott. Like that cast is so funny. Massimo is the most, I love that guy so much. When he acts is just like with every amoeba, it's just like all in. And Sandra's fucking hilarious, as you can see. Like the entire concept, you're like, of course that came out of Sandra Battellini's brain, right?
Right. Yeah, and that role was perfect for Massimo. And Sandra as well. Sandra's like beloved in the comedy community, known as the mayor of comedy. She was the first president of the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedy. She's a regular, and literally like, she's kind of like you in the sense, that's probably why you guys vibe, is that I find anytime someone describes Sandra or you, they're like, oh, Sandra's the best. Phil is the best. Oh, that guy is the best. You're the best, buddy. Oh, she's the best. Like it's always. And,
that's good to know.
I didn't know that you guys had that early connection. I've just figured that you guys worked together at some point, but I didn't realize that she like literally brought you into the business.
Yeah. Like I was in show business. I had agents before.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Like when I was in late elementary school, early high school, I had a talent agent for a while, but it was really hard because I grew up in Stony Creek, and every time I had an audition, someone would have to take me,
Right.
And it was just like, okay, enough. And, with Italian parents, it's okay, you went to 4 of these. How many do you need to go to before, they're just like, let it get out of his system.
Right.
And so I was kind of like held hostage and forced to face the idea like, okay, I know you like to act, but you have to find a real career. You got to find something to do. And so I started taking school more seriously. And then I finished high school. I went to university. I went to Western and I studied sociology. Mm-hmm. And then I went to McMaster and I got my master's in sociology as well.
And then you're
at that point,
I don't want to use it.
I was in class at McMaster and I was like, I shouldn't be in this room, like this class, which is just a fucking conference table with like 6 master's students who are like super interested in Carl Jung and Marx. And I'm like, guys, I didn't care. It made me like kind of sick to my stomach every time I drove into the campus because I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like it eventually ate me up,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I had to give in and be like, what do I have to lose? Because I'm either going to be, at worst broke or at best miserable with a nice paycheck. And I'd rather be broke and happy,
Right. Yeah, I love that. And kudos to you for making that decision, because I feel like probably 80% of the world just lives with that gross feeling every day until they die. And then on their deathbed, they regret their entire life. And
like, I wish I became a mechanic.
Yeah. Couple fun facts. I also played Kinnicky. The first thing I ever did on stage was in grade 8. Playing Kinnicky in a
what school did you go to? You did Grease in grade 8.
It was Catholic high school, actually. It was Monsignor Lee, a Catholic, not a high school, a Catholic elementary school in Aurelia, Ontario. Yeah,
I did Grease in grade 4.
Yeah,
what?
He did Grease in grade 4.
Yeah, but we changed the ending to ours. So that's like, how it's you're the one that I want. You are the one I want. We cut that completely. And like, it was just Sandy going up to Danny with like the same schoolgirl outfit she had started the show with, being like, I'm not going to change for you.
Ooh.
You're either going to take me as is or not at all.
The abridged version.
Yeah. That was the female empowerment version. I like that.
I like it
I like
too.
that. And I also went to Western, so I'm another Western grad. We're alumni.
I don't even know if that's a thing. I just like made it up. What?
And I went to a university that started with a W.
Waterloo.
Windsor.
Okay.
Windsor.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt there for a second.
Nice. Did you live in residence?
Yeah, I did. I lived in residence first year at King's College. And it was super fun, actually. I'm still Facebook friends with a lot of people in that house. It's funny. And but after his first year, I didn't. I lived in an apartment with my best friend and another guy who we were friends with throughout university. Did you?
I lived at the very first year. Essex was a thing. It was sort of the first apartment style where it was really cool. There was 4 bedrooms, but then there was a kitchen and a living room. And then we also had a cafeteria as well. So you can kind of live on your own. But if you weren't a food person, you could just go to the cafeteria every time. Then second, third, and fourth year, and then 1 year afterwards, I lived right off campus on Huron Street by the main gates, and then right across the main gates at University Crescent. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I live in the ones on the main gates on Richmond.
Literally right out the main gates and street. Yeah. I'm sure you're loving this, Brandon, right now. He's like, you can imagine it.
I'm just doing
We'll draw you a map.
You're like work party. You went into work, your partner's work party mode. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Anyway.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Can I
get a top five?
Well, this is probably a good time. Let's. You want to roll another clip, BK?
I do want to roll another clip.
Let's roll.
We got some stand up from Phil. Ready?
Do we need to set this up? You want to set this up as they do?
I did. This is a clip from Phil doing stand up.
Right. I meant Phil. Does Phil want to set it up?
I think this is actually a very interesting show because speaking of Sandra Battellini, this show was done at was it the Drake Hotel? I always get the Drake mixed up with the other cool hotel. Glad.
Oh yeah, you got it. Gladstone and Drake. Yeah.
Anyways, he set this up as part of a fundraiser for Cast, and it was comedians doing a fashion show / a set, and I got to do some comedy in some fun fashion. That was a fun show. I don't even know what clip you showed, but I know that it's from that show. So hit it.
Let's do it.
For Phil Luzi.
The nativity is huge. Like everyone paints the nativity scene, has different interpretations of it. The baby Jesus looked pretty much the same in all of them. You know what I mean? Some chubbier than others, but who knows? Who knows what the true story was? Mary had different expressions, but mostly happy. You know, one of them, she was a little concerned, like, holy shit, no wonder it hurt. Look at the size of that halo. You know what I mean? But for the most part, Joseph was miserable in all the fucking paintings. I was like, what's this guy's problem? And then it dawned on me, he just lugged a pregnant woman through the fucking desert on a donkey. He's probably really pissed off. That, and he's like, who the fuck's kid is this? She wouldn't even let me finger her. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Confusion is what I'm saying, just confusion.
Wow, you're really showing that clip.
Yeah, I probably should
Yeah,
cut
man.
that.
Yeah, that was like 2 minutes of stand up and then a 3-minute
I'm like, if I
outro.
see MCMX11445, I'm out of here.
We got to get our cross promotion going, you know?
That was great. That was fantastic. Sounded like a wicked audience and a fun event. And just in case they didn't know that they were at a stand-up show, there was a brick wall behind you, so they could be.
I mean, that's a giveaway. Yeah.
So I guess our question going into this is, how do you establish a relationship with your audience, Phil?
Well, when it's in stand-up, what I try to do is kind of like, I'm not the type to address audience unless there's something obvious. It's not my go-to, because I know that sometimes audience members, through no fault of your own, but they don't want to be a part of the show, and they get like very standoffish, and I take it personally. So I'm like, oh my God, they don't like what I'm saying. And so it ruins the whole thing. And I try not to do it unless you can tell. You got to feel like someone's got the vibe going. So the nights where I do engage with the audience are probably the nights where I'm riffing a lot more and just kind of like chilling into it, so I could see who's in my vibe, you know, and talk to them. And I connect with them like that, because truth of the matter is, like, you can't connect with, if you're in a comic, like, there are times when the whole fucking room is into it, but there are going to be times when you don't connect with any of them or just some of them. And you got to just be yourself and then see what happens.
And I guess this is a follow-up question for both of you. How do you deal with hecklers when the show isn't going the way you want it to?
That's what I do.
Wow. All right.
I end them.
You do this?
I don't even remember anymore. I think I look at them through Zoom and be like, oh, that guy's not even watching right now. Do you remember? I don't even remember live stand-up. It's been so long. I think I don't think I've ever, to truthfully answer the question, I don't think I've ever had like a true like vicious heckler who he's like purposely trying to say like, you fucking suck and stop the show and this is garbage. And I tend to interact. I'm maybe a little different than Phil, where I like to purposely toy and mess with people. So I would just say I kind of roll with the punches, unless it's like a showcase set where I know I'm going in like I got what I want to deliver and I don't want to mess it. Like generally most shows you're willing to have some fun, especially if you have a little extra time, and it's not like if it's a 5-minute or 7-minute set, you don't have a ton of time for that. But if you're headlining, you might have some more time. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good answer. I just like to have fun. I mean, I'm a human being just like them in a room, so I kind of just talk to them like that, and I happen to have the mic, so kind of in charge. I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been given the opportunity to actually confront a heckler. But when people talk, like if they're just talking or being rude, I try to find out what they said first, because I'm like, oh, if I can, make something of this, that's cool too. But if they're just being dicks, then I don't know. I think I just go on with it. And yeah, That's what I've done so far.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. And I guess another follow-up to that is, how do you guys go about writing or making your jokes?
Phil? Okay. They start on my phone in the Notes app, and I just come up, like, it depends, Sometimes it's like a train of thought, and my note is super long, and then sometimes it's like 2 words, like toilet paper beanbag, and then I hope to remember when I'm not high tomorrow morning, or I'll never see it again. I'll probably never see it again. But I just try, writing a joke doesn't even matter. I'm more like an idea. I'll write an idea down and try it. That's what I miss about just being on stage, right? And going to open mics. Because now when you do online shows, you feel like, I need to be prepared. I need to do these jokes, because you want to have a higher insurance policy that it's going to go well. But I miss those days where you're nothing to lose. Everyone's stoned in this fucking room. And I'm just going to try. Those are the best jokes for me. Fleshing them out, talking them out in front of an audience where you feel like you have that freedom and you're kind of loose and everyone's just on board. Right, Lars? remember the Underground? Yeah. You caught a good wave at that show. Totally. You were on cloud 9.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's you're in this magical, just a room, you stumbled into Narnia, and it's just a magical room full of unicorns. Magic happens, everyone's together, and then it just disappears into the night, and it never happened. Like that's one of the nice things about some of those smaller rooms or old rooms, or even like now there's kind of seems there's always someone recording and there's always some camera or social media happening. But it used to happen a lot. Like crazy shit would happen, and then that was just the end of it. It was just for those eyes and ears only, and then it was all over. So
yeah, a lot of joke suicides there for
right?
sure.
I would say I'm similar. It's a little haphazard, but generally I would just think of something or see something, maybe some jot notes. I was never one to write anything out verbatim. I would take the concept or the gist of it or the premise and then take it on stage, try some things out and see if it hits a bit and starts to be like, okay, yeah, there's something there to work with. A lot of it for me depends on if it's fun for me to do it too, versus what their response is. If I like to do it and it's something that's playful and fun for me, then generally I'll stick with it and flush it out. And back in the day when we would do more live shows, if you're bouncing around the city or walking in between or on a subway, a lot of just thoughts, like I would literally be in between shows or walking on the way to a show, see a weird guy or witness a weird thing, or just think of something random based on something I see. And then you just bring that up and that becomes the seed of an idea too. So
it could end up being your whole set.
Right. Yeah. And that is the sad and I'm sure frustrating thing for most stand-up comics, is having those outlets gave you much more of a sort of a incubator of material, because every day, multiple times, you get to test and try, versus now, like if you're going to be booked on something, it's probably going to be on Zoom. It's maybe a little more corporate, or it's not the time just to fuck around if you just have fun to do it, especially if obviously people paid as well too. You're not gonna just mess around with random stuff. But
yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And I know Seinfeld has a Pop-Tart joke that he's been working on for 5 years. Is there a joke or an idea you have been mulling for a very long time that you don't know what to do with?
I don't think there's a joke that I could check my notes. But
please,
I could tell you though that when I did have stage time, if there was something I thought might be, I would always try it out like as soon as possible. But you know, because I'm more of like a storyteller comic, so like there's like an idea and I'll talk about, I don't know if there is one.
Right. Well, because I know, Lars, we've talked about on this show, you've had an idea for Phantom of the Library and like other ideas like that. And I'm just sort of wondering if you guys have ideas that come to you that like you just don't know how to get them out there, or like you're not sure how it like should be delivered because
like, is this a joke? Is it a series? Is it a movie?
Yeah, for me, I would say that the majority of my ideas, when they're born, they're sort of born as a visual to me to be like a sketch. So I kind of envision it a lot, and that's really my stand-up is a mishmash of sketch comedy in stand-up form with fake commercials and songs and funny little ditties and jingles and stuff. So I've definitely had bits and things. I think for some comedians, the challenge is when to retire something, because you do stuff that, like for me, I had little bits that I love doing them. They pretty much always got a great response. New audiences always love them. Even people who had seen them before were like, oh, you're going to do this one today? Like I kind of had some favorites. And they become like your babies. But in order to move forward and grow, you kind of got to eventually like put them on a shelf and just leave them and move forwards. But I've had ones like over like an 8 or 10 year span that have evolved and changed, and you add little things and you add little, like just based on things that happen live in a show. Like I had that Bob's Bidet jingle, which we've played and is on my album Silly Goose. As an example, I did that bit. It's a bit about bidets, fake commercial about bidets. Come on down to Bob's Bidets, because with the bidet, you're always rim job ready.
Oh my God, I've done a spoof bidet commercial too.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
as one example of how things can evolve is I did a show in Gravenhurst. It was at a Jug City. It was Deb's Comedy Den inside a gas station in Gravenhurst, and there was a father and a daughter there, and they started to have a debate about whether or not they owned a bidet and what a bidet was. So they started to have a bidet debate. You guys having a debate? You guys having a bidet debate right now?
Bidet debate. So funny.
And then in the moment, I was like, bidet debate. Bidet debate, dun, 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 bidet debate, dun, 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 dun. And so that then that happened in the moment organically with them, where it was just bidet debate, and it just started clicking in my mind. And then that extra part of doing that stupid whatever it was Sesame Street song then became like a built-in part of the bit that was never there for 5 years before. So that kind of fun stuff happens. Yeah, that's the fun. That's what's so great about stand-up as an art form, and those live performances is so organic. You never know what's going to happen. It's like you can go anywhere at any moment, and you're entirely in control as the performer. Sometimes out of control, but it sort of lives and dies with you, I guess. Versus TV and film and theater, you have cast members and you have crew and you have other people that rely on you, but stand up, you just kind of do whatever the fuck you want, and it's your time, your show. So it's kind of beautiful. Yeah. I miss stand up, guys. But I have been loving. I actually really like Zoom shows. I know that people resisted them, but I would way rather do Zoom shows than nothing. So I'll take all of the Zoom shows you want to give us. Go ahead, send them our way. Can you?
And also, I want to take this moment just to say, if anyone watching right now has a question for Phil or myself or Lars, please ask us in the comment section. We'll put it up and we'll make sure that we get to your question as well.
And speaking of audience members, we got a regular here. He's one of our VIPs, James Tubey, aka the Tubinator.
Tubinator.
Yeah, what's up, Tubinator? He says, "It's okay, I'm here now." Thank you. We were really worried, Jim.
I know. I was like, "Where's the Tubinator?"
We almost didn't go on with the stream. We were like, we can't go on the internet with a Tubinator. How are we gonna do things?
No.
I was gonna ask Phil. Over the years, obviously, you've done probably hundreds, maybe thousands of live shows and dozens of film and theater productions. Is there something is there a production that really stands out, or if you could return to one, which would you return to? Like, what's been the pearl in your treasure chest of performances so far in your life?
Honestly, I would love to do Bye Bye Birdie again, because when I played Conrad Birdie, I wasn't like, I could have done something like, if me could have done it, I would do so much more with that part because it's so ridiculous. But yeah, that's the one I would do.
You'd glam it up a bit. Maybe Conrad has a loose ponytail.
Yeah, and like you'd whip it around.
Nice.
They just add, I whip my hair back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. How about you?
There's two TV things that I did that were like literally where you have to pinch yourself. The first major recurring gig that I got was on Almost Genius, which was a sketch comedy show, sort of a green screen comedy show where they would take internet fail videos, and then it was a cast of 10 or 12 stand-up comics. A bunch of people actually. Sammy Freed was in it. Neela Handu was in it.
Oh, cool.
Darren McIntyre.
Yeah, I forgot that. I do
Chris
remember.
Robinson, Jason Agnew, like tons of. It was the best, and it was crazy over the top characters. It was 3 months in a green screen studio with ridiculous wardrobe, fake beards, fake mustaches, and we got paid really well too. So it was like we're so used to a few days here and a few days there, and then you're on, and that was like 3 months of a core cast where every week going to table reads and so yeah, we were really spoiled there. That was that one. And then when I did Oh Yuck, the kids show, that was like I would get the script and I'd be laughing out loud reading it. It was so ridiculous and over the top, and the world, there was puppets and robots and animation and all.
I loved doing that. You were that part was made for you.
It was so fun. In my head, I would literally be like, I would be imagining what like Family Guy and or Homer Simpson or like cartoon characters. I'd be picturing them in my head and being like, how would they react to this? Because that's the nice thing about kids comedy is it can be so big and bold and wacky and over the top. Like you don't ever have to be like, oh, would a real person do and say things like that? You're not really a real person, which is more fun to me.
I get it. Actually, the self-tape I did earlier with Brandon,
right?
That was like a long time since I was able to just be ridiculous in an audition, and it was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
It looked great. I really liked it.
Thank you again.
So James Tooby has a question. Phil, was there one show that stands out to you? Now, we talked about a musical that stood out to you. Is there a stand-up show that has stood out to you, or a television show that you've been in that stood out to you? Or that you'll always remember yourself doing?
Well, I love doing Bad Blood with Kim Coates because it was a really well done Canadian produced show. And I met Lisa Barry during that because we were, you know, all of my scenes were with Lisa, and she's an amazing actor, and Kim Coates is amazing too. It was just like so nice, and I got to go to Sudbury and I have friends in Sudbury, so like it all worked out really well, and I had fun because it was the first time I was like taking on a character in a series, you know, with multiple episodes. Having a recurring part, and I really loved it. Except for Alejandro in Terrific Women. I was in every episode of that, which like this is more recent and on the dramatic side, but side note, that show is like still kills me. I wish I could do Alejandro every single day of my life. And
yeah, talk about range from Alejandro, who is like way over the top, extravagant, fabulous, and then the captain of a police force as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's some great range for you from comedy to drama like that.
That was fun. That's when I realized I'm like, okay, I have to be okay with being an asshole or very mean or the villain sometimes just because I look like that person.
Right.
You know, like all my features tell you I'm gonna kill you, but I'm not. I'm just here. It's a joke. You know what I mean? So it's always fun to play for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Now, Phil, do you have a routine or like a vocal or physical exercise that you do to get yourself in the mindset to perform?
No. I love to dance. So if I'm nervous, I'll be backstage dancing for 100% because I feel like, okay, if I can commit to this dance, then I'm committing to having fun because that's the thing you have to do when you go on stage is even when you're doing a showcase, you're like, if you can't get to the place where you can jump in and have the fun, then it's not going to go well. All the amazing sets, even when you see them, you could see that the person is having a good time, totally committed. And they're not budging, you know, and they own it. And I love that because if you can, that's the magic, you know, that's the addictive thing, right, Lars? It's like you too, Brandon. It's like, that's the thing that keeps you like the crack cocaine. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost one of those blackout experiences where you're just so in it while it's happening and everything's live and in the moment and you're reacting and things are happening maybe that you didn't expect it, but you're rolling with it.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's just like, whoa, like I actually just lived through something versus something that feels rehearsed and like you're saying, like if you're saying the line the same way every night or doing everything physically the same, like when you're really in it, it's just like, whoa, that was intense.
I did a play once where, and you know, my background is comedy really when I got into the professional zone, but I ended up getting hired for a few plays. And I remember a couple of times because I don't like doing the lines the same way either. So every performance I would be like, I'll follow the cues. I'm not going to like go step over here when you think I'm going to step over there, but I'm not going to deliver my lines exactly the same way every performance. And a couple of times, you know, your castmates don't appreciate that. Some people like you give me, I know what you're giving me. I ordered it off the menu and this is what it's supposed to be. But even jokes, I could do maybe the same set 2 nights in a row, but I have to at least switch out 1 or 2 jokes to make it fun for me, or it's going to be harder to jump into that zone. the crack cocaine.
Have you, a lot of actors, especially in theater, sometimes by the end of a run will do little gags where they fuck with their scene partners. Like they'll put something in a prop or like slightly move a prop or like write like a note on stage to them. Have you ever done any incognito pranks?
I have done stuff like that, but I never do it where I'm like, okay, is there a possibility that it will compromise the quality of the performance? Like, is it going to break them so much that, you know, but if I could get an honest reaction about something that's going on stage, but using a different influence to get it, I've done that. I've done plays with Sandra Battolini. We've done some crazy shit on stage. We used to get in trouble at Tony and Tina's wedding because there was no business. Like when I first started, Sandra was the mother of the bride, and I was like the caterer. I wasn't even the head caterer. I was like the caterer's nephew who had like almost nothing to do because, you know, you have to learn the show. So they give you the smallest part. And me and Sandra would just get along right off the bat. We would get in trouble from the director all the time because the director didn't live in Toronto. He would just come once or twice a year from LA to recast and redo the show.
Right. Yeah. You guys have taken some creative liberties, I'm sure.
Yeah. They're like, why is the waiter and the mother of the bride? But I'm like, I'm Italian. I'm sorry, but if anyone's going to get in shit from an Italian mother at a wedding, it's the catering staff, you know? Right. So I think they have lots of business.
Nice. So Phil, how long have you been coming to Laughing Vikings now? When did we meet? I think that's kind of how we met, just briefly before that, I think, at a stand-up show.
Yeah, I remember seeing your name for the longest time and then meeting you at a show. And then I started coming to Laughing Vikings because hello, self-tapes, you need them. And I was, you know, I've been to many, and there's a lot of good self-tape facilities in Toronto, but, you know, when you get a vibe and stuff, it's good to like have a place to play. And so I just kept coming to Laughing Vikings, and it's in my neighborhood. And, you know, a lot of comedians especially go there, not just, but it's a fun place to like do fun auditions. Cause you know, sometimes you're going to get the police captain and sometimes you're going to get a flamboyant Latino bartender, and it's good to just fuck around. It's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I remember it was similar where before we had done shows together, you see people's names on other shows or you have friends of friends. So you sort of know of people in the community. And I think it was at Corner Comedy, just a random night at the downtown Corner Comedy back out in the alley. And I think it was the first year of Laughing Vikings. I was doing a free session for everyone for the first try. Like
I remember that card.
Yeah, I'll do one on the house. So I gave it to you and you came and you've been coming ever since. Obviously,
Who am I to deny a coupon?
Right? Yeah, it worked out.
What am I, a fool?
And another fun fact, this is it was learning curves very early on. It might have even been your very first one. We did it. It went great. The session was great. And then I had to bounce from the studio and I went across town to Kensington Market to watch the monologue slam. And I got there, the slam, I was just there. I wasn't in it. I was there to watch and just meet some friends, network a little bit. And I got a message from you being like, the file didn't come through here. Did you transfer it? And I was like, yeah, I did transfer it. What the fuck? And it hadn't come through. So I left monologue slam, had to Uber back and check, and it had timed out. And so I had to like resend it and everything. But that was like, I knew early on that there could never be a scenario where a tape doesn't get sent. Like that would be the worst. Imagine you come in for a potentially life-changing role with tons of money attached to it, and we do it and I fucking delete it or don't send it. So early on, I really took that seriously to make sure like instantly. And now even to this day, learning from that, I literally watch until the transfer is complete versus like closing my laptop and walking away and just trusting that it's going to finish. So those were, thank you for the growing pains. You made me work early on in those days. So
it was a tough job.
We might have done the Bad Blood audition. I forget over the years.
I was just going to say, so you don't remember what happened with Bad Blood is I auditioned for another part, like as a parole officer, and it was a short scene. And then like weeks later, I got called in back for the police captain. And then again, remember they wanted me to redo the audition, but a little bit. Yeah. And then I think it was like a long time after that one where I found out about it. But yeah, I did that at Laughing Vikings.
Right.
I loved it.
How many episodes did you do? You were on 5?
4 or 5?
4 or 5? Yeah.
Nice. 4 or 5. Yeah, I can't remember. But
check them out, everyone, on Bad Blood. CTV, right? Is that what it was on? I don't know. Where did it land now? Is it on one of the streaming sites?
It's on Netflix now.
On Netflix. Check out Phil as the captain in Bad Blood. So in one thing that I do always like to ask is, and I guess you sort of touched on it as far as it being a fun vibe, but is there anything else that like, what are the benefits to, like, not all actors invest in somewhere to do their self-tape. So what is it that you has found helpful by doing your tapes here? And now you do a lot by Zoom too. So that's a lot that's kind of different.
It is very different. I mean, I like it because, like I said, you build a rapport and then you have a way of doing things. It's like, okay, this is what I need to do. And then jamming, doing a few rehearsals, getting ideas like, how should we start the scene? Or maybe, hey, here, maybe try something where you get an opportunity to show more of your character by doing something, or having that idea, you don't get a chance to do that usually in a real audition, so you might as well take advantage of this strange opportunity we have to like experiment. And because we get a lot of chances to do it, it gets better and more fun. You guys always make great suggestions about things to do, either to get into the scene or during, and how to end a scene, for example, things that I hadn't considered really before, like, oh yeah, maybe I should leave with a button because, the scene is kind of like just left, and yeah, we could fade out, but what if something telling of the character you are comes through? Or it's just fun. It's just fun to play.
Right. Yeah, I know that. I think we need to give a shout out to one of our acting coaches, is Tom Todoroff, the conservatory. I've been a member there doing weekly Zoom sessions, and that's all, like, the whole philosophy is jamming your performances and auditions with as many creative choices as possible. So just painting with as many colors as possible. Nothing is only drama or only comedy. Dramatic stuff has fun moments, and comedy has dramatic moments to it. So, and the moment before, and the first impressions and last looks, I think all of that stuff has really been drilled into me from Todoroff's class. And it's just also a language where we're talking about guideposts, and we're talking about a certain language that you sort of get used to, I think, when we're talking to you, so that when we make a suggestion like, oh, make this more of a discovery, or find an opposite there, that kind of lingo, I think, really helps too. I don't know about what you can add to that, Brandon.
No, you hit the nail on the head, Lars. Like that's what we try and do. Like, especially the moment before. I think the moment before and relationship, especially for auditions, really enhance the performance for your self-tape and or audition. Just because, like, we want to be invited into the character's life. We don't want to just be like, hey, there you go. Ah! Like, that's not appealing. Right. Like, already.
Yeah, that's what I did this afternoon.
What are you talking about? You invited them in. Yeah. That's why we did this. That's why we did the spin. That's why we had the thing. Yeah, exactly. Nice. We had the thing to invite them in, to get them into the performance, to get them to see this character the way you want to portray it. And like, that's why we add props, add something, just so that you have more to do. You have more to play. Right?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing about self-tapes though. It's like, it's hard. It's challenging because I was saying to Brandon earlier, like and I've said this to you before, Lars, sometimes if you do a scene too many times, you're shooting yourself in the foot because it's not becoming the scene anymore. It's becoming, I have to get this audition right. And so, like, I was watching the one I did at the end of last week with you, Lars, and I was like, I could have I lost sleep over it. I'm not kidding. Because I was like, what the fuck? Why did I pound myself over that?
you got to just be able to like stay in the moment. And although you have the opportunity to do it 100 times, you kind of got to mix the experience of the self-tape with that excitement of going into an audition room. Also, you kind of have to like have that chemistry there a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. You don't want it to get to the point where it's not feeling fresh or where it's feeling all planned. It's like that's something in our class that they always talk about is remembering to forget. Like, you know, the script and you know the end of the scene, but you have to go into it like a real human being who doesn't know moment from moment what's going to happen. And if you've just done it 30 times in a row, then sometimes it's tough to keep that spark and that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we love having you here. And our philosophy always, and my philosophy here is just, we never really like build it as coaching or anything, but we always want to make sure that if we're offering up creative suggestions and ideas, that hopefully the idea is always if someone's tape or their idea for the scene, what they were thinking was here, that we give them a few more things to bring it up to here, so that you're feeling with that collaboration and some outside eyes and a little outside direction, that you sort of up leveled your performance and offered up something a little more creative than if it just had been something you did by yourself. Or certainly the thing that I think a huge trap is anyone who's still doing it with a non-actor family member must just be a nightmare for them to deal with someone who's not used to taking words off the page or having to.
Yeah, and it's not fair to them either. You know, I've done it before and it's like, ugh. But at the same time, though, when you go to an audition, it's kind of funny because you do see that in the breakdown, like, please try not to involve family members in self-reads in the read, because, you know, if you can, go get your self-tape done professionally. But when you go to a real audition, sometimes that's the way the reader reads, is like as if they're not actors at all, which a lot of the times they are actors, but it's just to like remove any sort of influence on what decisions I guess you've made for your character. But at the same time, it's like reality. That's exactly what fucking happens in an audition.
That's true.
Like, I'm supposed to be crying here, my baby's dead, or something like that. You're just like, and then I don't care. You're like, get me there.
We didn't do this earlier. A quick bonus segment here on the show. We like to ask our guests, Phil, what do you think the picture behind Brandon is?
The picture behind Brandon. Okay, so it's either an octopus doing a backflip, or it is hold on.
We've never had octopus doing a backflip before. That's
really?
No.
Okay. Said that.
I mean, I can't really see it clearly from where I am, which fair enough. I guess that's part of the challenge. Oh, what? You're gonna take it close.
Yeah, do that. Bring it close.
Girl, yeah, bring it closer, because like if I'm allowed, I want to make an informed decision. Okay, so it looks like the profile of like a Commedia dell'arte mask with feathers on the top, or that also happens to, those could be straps, or all of a sudden this guy can walk. You know what I mean? those are my. It's a Woody Woodpecker mask or an octopus.
You said Woody Woodpecker. Okay,
you win the prize, Phil.
Brandon claims that it's Woody Woodpecker somehow.
It is.
I don't buy.
You know why? I'll tell you why I know this is because when I was a kid, I had a pajama with feet. I'll never forget. It was like yellow, red, and white felt. I don't know why I have this McDonald. It might have been a Ronald McDonald sort of pajama with slip-in feet, and I had a hanger in the room under the stairs where I would change for bed, and it was a Woody Woodpecker hook. His beak was the hook for my pajama.
That's great.
So,
thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's called Penguin in a Top Hat, but Lars thinks it looks like someone dying, or
I kind of look like it's maybe a Woody Woodpecker shot himself in the head and then his brains blew against the wall. But that just could be my dark.
Can you believe this guy?
Yeah, that's pretty dark. I'm not gonna a cartoon bird shooting himself in the head. I'm like, tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Someone's on my side.
You haven't seen the dark reboot of Woody Woodpecker on Adult Swim?
Does it exist? Because that would actually be good.
I don't think it exists.
I would actually watch that.
Maybe we
should make that.
But you know what they did? I always fantasized about like, do you remember Fantasy Island?
Yeah.
Like the original. I was like, wouldn't it be funny to do like a spoof comedy of this, like a series
but they did remake it, but it's not a comedy. I don't think it's like a murder mystery, sort of like problem solving. Excuse me.
Okay, so we're going to move on to one of our final segments this week, which is a quote to inspire your week. So today's quote comes from Matt Damon. I'm a huge fan of Matt Damon. And the quote today is, "Some people just see the glory and they don't want to know the story." So why did I pick this quote? I picked this quote because a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know what happens in everyday life. They only see Phil as the police sergeant, or they only see Lars as Lou the handyman. But we don't see the things that happen behind the scenes. We don't see the actor behind the role. We just see the role itself. Or we see the glitz and glamour that they experience because of the role, but we don't see the hardships that they go through to enforce how they get into other roles and get into other performances and get into other avenues of how they do things. And so I want this quote to reach out to you, and like, I want it to make sure that people understand that we're here for you. We want you to understand that even if you're going through a hard time right now, you have people that love you and support you. And it's very difficult right now, especially in Ontario, Canada, because we are in another stay-at-home order. And like, that's very hard to get out of that mindset of like, you're trapped, you're stuck. But remember that every story has twists and turns, and some we see coming, some we don't see coming. But I want you to know that your story is unique to you. So I asked Lars and Phil to grab a piece of paper if they want to grab that right now.
All right.
And I just want you guys to fold it, just like a letter to yourself. And what I want you to write in is something that you would want to read waking up every morning. Just a little note to yourself to inspire you, to get you going in the morning. So what I wrote is, "I'm thinking of you and I love you," in mine. So I'm not going to ask you guys to reveal what you guys wrote in your letters, but if anyone at home wants to do this, see this, because we care. We at Laughing Vikings Live care about you, and we want you to know that we love you.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
I didn't know you were going to try to make us all cry today, or not.
That's
cry.
beautiful.
Yeah. Here's mine.
You fucking got nice. Do you want to see mine?
You fucking got this.
You are worth the work. Yes. Nice. I love that, Phil. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for doing that this week. And like, again, I just want this to be an inspiration, because again, it's all about the iceberg, where you see the top of the iceberg, but you don't see the work that goes into it, and all the hardships that we face and all the things that we struggle with. But you know what? They're there. They make us who we are, and they make you who you are. So you can do this.
I thought this was all just sipping margaritas on our Malibu beach house. I thought that was it. Twerking at our Malibu beach house. Struggles. What are you talking about? Struggles. Yeah. No, I love what you said, Brandon, and I do really love the Laughing Vikings community here, and I think yourself and all the session directors, and certainly I feel this way when people are coming in. I'm genuinely rooting for them. Most of them are my friends. Either they were my friends before, or they become my friends because they've been regulars here at Laughing Vikings. And I think we genuinely want people to succeed, and we want people to do well, not only in their careers and in their life. And this has been a challenging year for everyone in the world because of the pandemic, but especially people in show business. Maybe it's like no live shows. That's a tough thing for people to deal with. So yeah, if you're watching, you're listening, know that if you ever need a hand, reach out, whether it's something that we actually provide as a service, or you just need a little bit of a community to lean on, then feel free to lean on us when you're not strong. Lean on us when you're not strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the meantime, make sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Laughing Vikings. Hit us up on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube, on Twitch. And we're here every Monday. Be sure to tag us, tag a few friends, share this out. And Phil, maybe if you can close us out to under the theme of Laughing Vikings being a community to help dreamers turn their delusions into reality. Can you give any tips or wise words of advice to someone who's maybe thinking of getting started into this business, or maybe someone who is already in the business and maybe feels stuck and needs a little nudge to continue forward?
Well, if you need a nudge, remember, like, try to sit and close your eyes and remember what made you want to do this in the first place. Because it's easy to forget with all the social media and how many followers you have. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? This is not me being the shepherd. You know, in grade 1, I don't feel that feeling here. It's weird. And for people starting out, is the best thing to do yourself as a favor is to make sure that you are as prepared as you can possibly be for the opportunities that will quickly be presented to you. That's what I would tell myself when I was in the, late elementary school, and I went to 4 auditions and my parents were like, forget it. Damn, that fucking Shreddies commercial, I should have nailed it. I was just like studying it in the car. I'm joking, but really being prepared alleviates all the nerves. It's like, you don't got to be nervous. You got this. Now you can focus on the character and you could play a little more and you can act. That's the part.
Love it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that preparation actually means learning the craft side of it. So investing in training, investing in mentors, in coaches, in workshops, in intensives, in physical fitness, in health, in dialect coaches, all of those things, in physical voice and speech coaches. There's a lot that goes into it. And for a long time, I was very guilty. I've been doing this since 2009, doing stand-up and acting. And probably up until around 2016, I was kind of like, oh, I got an instinct, I got a knack for it, I got comedic timing, and I didn't really invest as much in training and in coaches and in mentoring. And so what happened, there was a time where I was starting to get a little imposter syndrome, or some of those nerves, and it's nerves of the little deep, dark voice in your head saying that you don't know what you're doing or you got no business doing here. And all that.
That was me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's everyone. I think probably.
I mean, that was my voice.
Oh, that was you. Yeah, that was you. Hey, you got no business being here. Get out of here, Phil.
What is this?
I'm on stage. Phil, I'm on stage right now. Get out of here. You were that heckler. I see. Yes. No, and I think I love what you say about that. Prepare when you're fully prepared and you're fully rehearsed. Then there's no nerves. It's just excitement. It's that sports excitement of like, let me at him, let me on stage, say action so I can go to town on this scene. It's great. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, I believe we're ready to wrap it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Flew by. Thanks for having me.
Flew by. It's great having you. Be sure to follow Phil at, where's the best spot for them to find you, Phil?
Instagram, Phil Luzi. I don't know what it is now. Phil Luzi.
Oh, there it is. We got it
official.
Phil Luzi official. Just to make it sound official, right?
Right.
I got a TikTok account, but right now I'm just creeping.
Are you verified? Are you verified on Instagram or TikTok yet? No.
How do you even get that check mark?
I don't know.
Whatever you do not follow Phil Luzi unofficial. You do not want anything to do with the unofficial.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's really not cool at all what they're doing on that account.
If you're out there unofficial Phil Luzi, enough is enough.
Do you know what though? There is another Phil Luzi, and he lives like in the Midwest in the US, and he's a major football and baseball fan. And I got a Google alert the other day saying Phil Luzi was quoted in some fucking Cincinnati Star about the Orioles and how excited he is about the fucking season. And I'm like, that's not this Phil Luzi's. Maybe that's the unofficial one. Anyway,
I actually get phone calls from different tech companies because there's another Brandon Knox that lives in Toronto that's like some tech guy or runs some company called Morningstar. Okay. And so I'll get calls from companies pitching their idea to this Brandon Knox. And like sometimes I'll get it when I'm like waiting for a call from my agent. And so I'm like, is this Brandon Knox? And it's like, yes, it's me. Please tell me I got something. And they're like, okay, so we want to pitch you, blah, blah, blah. So if Morningstar goes like this, and it's like, sorry, you're talking about the Brandon Knox that goes to Morningstar. Yeah, that's not me. They're always oh.
Brandon, next time say yes, but we've transitioned from Morningstar to we're working under the name Laughing Vikings. We can figure it out for you. We will do it. We're on it. Next time, just say yes. Get the contract, and we'll figure out the details afterwards.
We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Done.
All right. You guys are awesome. We love you, Phil. Thank you so much.
Love you. Have a good one.
Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.